Class, you're welcome to our chemistry online class for this week. Today we'll be discussing base and alkali. Objectives. At the end of the class, I expect you to be able to define a base. 2. Explain the concept of neutralization in an acid-base reaction. 3. Describe the properties of an alkali. 4. Able to discuss the uses of a base. What is a base? A base is a substance which reacts with an acid to form salt and water. Recall, in our last class, when we were talking about the properties of an acid, under the chemical properties, we made mention that an acid will react with a base to form salt and water. So generally, bases are those substances which neutralize an acid to give salt and water. Bases are of two forms, as an oxide of a metal or as an hydroxide of a metal. As an oxide of a metal, bases are formed when metal bonds in oxygen. A good example is sodium reacting with oxygen to give us sodium oxide, potassium reacting with oxygen to give us potassium hydroxide. Why hydroxides of metal are formed when oxides of metals dissolve in water. Take note, it is not all oxides of metal that are soluble in water. The oxides of metal that are soluble in water will always react with water to form hydroxides of metal. A good example of hydroxide of metal is the reaction between sodium oxide and water to give us sodium hydroxide. Also, we can have potassium oxide reacting with water to give us potassium hydroxide. Also, we can talk about calcium oxide reacting with water to give us calcium hydroxide. That is laking of lime, calcium hydroxide. What is an alkali? An alkali is a soluble hydroxide of a metal. So that is to say, an alkali is a basic hydroxide which is soluble in water. So, thus, when hydroxide dissolve in water, they will ionize to give two ions, a positive metallic ion and a negative hydroxide ion. So, thus, an alkali is a substance which ionizes in water to give a basic, to give a metallic positive ion and a negative hydroxide ion. A good example, sodium hydroxide ionizing in water to give us sodium ion and hydroxide ion. Classification of an alkali. Just like an acid is classified to a strong acid and a weak acid, also an alkali can be classified into a strong alkali and a weak alkali. A strong alkali is that alkali which, when ionized in water, give high concentration of hydroxide ion. When it ionizes in water, it will produce a very high concentration of hydroxide ion. While a weak alkali is that alkali which, when ionized in water, will produce a limited or a low concentration of hydroxide ion. A good example of a strong alkali is your sodium hydroxide and potassium hydroxide. While example of a weak alkali include your calcium hydroxide and ammonium hydroxide. Neutralization reaction. A neutralization reaction is a reaction in which a base reacts with an acid to produce salt and water only. This is a property of an acid and is also a property of a base. Thus, the process by which an acid reacts with a base to form salt and water. That reaction is called neutralization reaction. I gave two definitions. In the second definition, the second definition explains the process of neutralization. I define it as that reaction in which the hydrogen ion from an acid will react with an hydroxy ion from an alkali to give water molecule, and at the same time salt is formed. How does this happen? If you look at the example in the chemical equation below, sodium hydroxide reacting with hydrochloric acid. The second part of that equation is showing the hydrozonium ion and the chlorine ion from an acid, and on the part of the base you can see a sodium ion and an hydroxy ion from the base. During neutralization reaction, the ozonium ion, which is H3O plus from the acid, will react with the OH minus, the hydroxide ion from the base to form water, while the negative ion, which is chlorine from the acid, reacts with the positive ion from the base to form salts. So in a neutralization reaction, you find out that the hydrogen ion from the acid will react with the hydroxy ion from the base to form molecule of water, and at the same time salt is formed. Properties of an alkali. Physical properties. 1. It has a bitter taste. Alkali has a bitter taste, unlike an acid that has a sour taste. Number 2. When you feel an alkali, it is slippery. That is to say, it behaves like a soap. They are soapy to touch. Number 3. Alkali turn red litmus paper blue. Take note. A base will turn a blue litmus paper red, while an alkali will turn a red litmus paper blue. Number 4, the concentrated form of an alkali is highly corrosive, and we have two types of them: the caustic soda, either potassium hydroxide or sodium hydroxide. They are highly corrosive. Another chemical properties of an alkali. 1. Their reaction with an acid. Just like an acid reacts with a base to form salt and water, also a base reacts with an acid to form salt and water. So an alkali will react with an acid to form salt and water only. This is a property of a base, and it's also a property of an acid. Number 2, you discover that when an alkali reacts with a salt of an ammonia, it will always liberate ammonia from that salt. A good example is sodium hydroxide reacting with ammonium triisonitrate 5 to liberate ammonia, and at the same time a sodium triisonitrate 5 salt is produced and water is produced alongside. Uses of an alkali. If you look at the table below, I gave some examples of some alkali and their uses. Talk about sodium, which is used to produce soap. Sodium salt. The sodium salt is the table salt, which is common to our kitchen, to our home. I talked about potassium hydroxide, which is used to produce liquid soap and is used for dyeing of clothes and electroplating of metals. I also talk about calcium hydroxide, which is used to produce mortar, cement, plaster. I also talk about its uses in neutralizing an acidic soil. An acidic soil can be used to neutralize an acidic soil. I also talk about magnesium hydroxide, which is used in producing your toothpaste which you use at home. And we also use it for producing laxatives. The last one I discussed on that table is ammonium, aqueous ammonia. It's used for bleaching of clothes and is also used for production of detergents. With this, we have come to the end of the class for today. Today we have talked about a base. We discussed an alkali as that soluble base. And we talked about neutralization reaction as a reaction between an acid and a base to form salt and water. Not forgetting the properties of a base as we discussed. Till we meet in the next class, I expect you to do this following assignment and submit to my WhatsApp number 08034187864 08034187864. The assignments are as follows. 1. What is a salt? 2. List 5 different types of salt and give example of each. Till we meet in the next class. Stay safe.